Hello, users. So, Biden has gained some controversy yet again over his comments on fracking from his town hall yesterday evening. And let's see. What is Biden actually saying here? Let's watch.
Let me just follow up on that. You said you won't ban fracking, but that you wanted to gradually move away from it ultimately. It sounds like to some you're trying to have it both ways. I mean, politically, it's understandable why you might say that, but if fracking contributes to climate change, and climate change is an existential threat, why should fracking continue at all?
Well, fracking has to continue because we need a transition. We're going to get to net zero emissions by 2050, and we'll get to net zero power emissions by 2035. But there's no rationale to eliminate right now fracking.
So this is the problem here. Now, Biden is putting himself in the worst possible position. Instead of bracing the popularity and the necessity of the Green New Deal, he is trying to, like Anderson Cooper said, play it both ways. He's trying to say, don't worry, I'm pro-fracking, to appease the Trumpers and the dullards on the right, but also say, but we do need to get rid of it eventually, to appease some of the maybe lesser informed people on the left or center left or liberals. And that's the smallest pool here, at least in my calculation. And another thing is, you can, it's possible, I've done it before, advocate for something, right, without lying about it, right? So when he says there's no rationale to ban fracking, that's not true. There is rationale. He disagrees with it. Now, one of the problems is, like, if you're just saying that in the heat of the moment, whatever, that's fine. But this is a presidential candidate saying something ridiculous and then just, using lies to make himself seem cool. And that's what I don't like about Biden. I don't like that style of speaking. However, I will say, and I'll get back to this clip in a bit, I will say that the idea that the right is so pro-fracking is just bizarre. Like, there's so many people, like, I don't get this whole fracking thing on the right. Who fracking cares? I know that was cringe, I'm sorry. But, like, seriously, you have, like, right-wingers, like, what? Like, protesting him. Why are you reversing on fracking? What, like, there's so many other issues to talk about. I can't see someone caring about fracking from the right. I just don't get it. From the left, it's like, holy frick, holy frack, half of the country's on fire. We need to do something now, right? So that's the existentialism of the left. But of the right, they don't believe in climate change, right? They don't really believe in anything. So, like, why not just pick a more popular issue? Why not pick something, like, more, like, in tune with the culture where, I don't know? But anyway, let's continue.
One. Number two, those jobs that are out there, whether it's a IBW worker or whether it's an iron worker or the steel worker, what I'm proposing is that, when Trump thinks about global warming, he thinks hoax. When I hear global warming, I think jobs. What I'm going to make sure we do is we can transition in a way. For example, we're going to build 500. The reason why all these unions have endorsed me is that they know my position, that I'm going to make sure that we have 500,000 charging stations on our highways so we can own the electric car market, creating 1 million jobs, and we can lead the world in Detroit. We can lead the world in making sure we move to electric vehicles. As President of the United States, I'll have one of the largest fleets. We spend $600 billion a year, federal money, for federal contracts. I'm going to make sure those contracts are all products made in America, including the chain that provides for every one of those products. I'm going to do away with the tax break that the president gave people who send jobs abroad, to make sure that if you, in fact, have a contract, with taxpayers' money, you must use American products, you must buy American products, and you must not be in a position where you're
All right, I'm tired of listening to Biden. I can't listen to him for another 3 minutes. Let me summarize this for you. And this is where I agree with Biden, that we definitely cannot deal with Donald Trump. Now, Biden is not good, okay? He's not good. But he's at least paying lip service. And that goes a long way, because he's wrapping himself in with these promises, he's wrapping himself in to a position where if he does renege on these promises, which he will try to do, the public outrage and pressure will only be much, much heavier, right? So, but this idea of banning fracking by, or like, all this stuff by 2050, that's just bad. That's not really a good strategy. By 2050, we're already losing. And this is where boomers just really can't grasp the subject matter. I get it, buddy. You're going to die before climate change actually becomes a huge deal. We aren't. And that's why it's a huge deal to us, the young people. The ones that actually believe in germs and believe in science, unlike the right-wing fasci weirdos, right? And so, the thing is, it is profitable to transition to renewable, like electric cars, all that kind of stuff. It is profitable. And that's why this is so bizarre, is that Trump and his base, which claim to be anti-big government and pro-small government, they are enforcing the biggest possible government play by giving subsidies to oil and gas companies and by raising taxes and reducing opportunities for renewables. So he is fixing the market so that renewable, like in electronic cars and all that kind of stuff, have to pay more and make less under the capitalist framework that we're living in. And oil and gas companies have to pay less and make more. So it's ridiculous. If you just got rid of this whole subsidy nonsense, if we actually did inhabit a free market that capitalists claim to love, green energy would not only dominate the free market, it would be a blowout. Imagine any of Reagan's elections. This would be a blowout economically, and that's what Biden, I think, should focus on. And he seems to be on that kind of point. But again, Biden is a transitional president. If you are against voting for Biden and you're a socialist, I'm sorry, I disagree. Now, I'm not going to shame you. I'm not going to say, blah, 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 because that's just a waste of time. I respect your intelligence too much to try to sell you something, right? But think about this. And this is why I advocate to vote for Biden. Well, one, he's going to decriminalize marijuana, or at least have a higher likelihood of decriminalizing marijuana. But two, because Trump's going to have a fucking meltdown. And that's just going to be so fun to watch. Like watching Trump on Twitter, it's a fraudulent election. Sleepy Joe Biden. Like, that's just going to be hilarious. You got to admit that's going to be funny. That's going to be so funny. And so that's why I'm agitating for a Biden presidency. One, because I don't want to die. As a transgender person, I don't want to die. And Trump wants me to die, and that stresses me out a little bit. But two, because Trump and his meltdown is going to be extremely good content. Get your popcorn ready, everyone. And by popcorn, I mean go phone up Corn Pop and go... I'm so sorry. I like Harry Lane.